Have you ever come across a post that is so factually inaccurate and ridiculous that you want to squeeze someone until their eyes pop out of their noggin? I found such a post, and with it being almost 2 years old, it did not age well. So let's get my bias out of the way, shall we? I am a Sims 3 player. I have invested more than 10,000 hours in The Sims 3. I have been playing it and making content for YouTube for over 6 years. Not to toot my own horn, but I would consider myself an authority on The Sims 3. And one of my main missions is to help others sort out their Sims 3 games so they can enjoy it like I do. Now you may be wondering, have you played The Sims 4? Yes, I played it since launch up until I believe last year. It's been about a year since I've even touched the game. The whole reason I'm even making this video is I have never seen so much factually inaccurate information followed up by silly justifications for why Sims 4 is the best Sims game ever. This post left me absolutely flabbergasted because I thought I had waded through a lot of the really terrible opinions about The Sims 4, but I guess not. Let's start with the first thing on this list. Sims 3 characters are terrifying to look at and impossible to make attractive. I am not a stranger to the argument that all Sims 3 Sims look the same and they have pudding faces. I've seen it and heard it all. And I will admit that The Sims 4 is easier for novice players to figure out how to make Sims. Sliders are really hard to use and understand, and it's much easier just to drag around your Sim like it's made of putty. Look, all sarcasm aside, if you invest the time to actually learn how the sliders work, you can make really awesome Sims. Like most video games, just because you're too lazy to learn how things work doesn't make it a bad game. Let's move on to the second thing on this list. Custom hair, literally strand by strand, was too clunky. And this is where the feeling of maybe you didn't play The Sims 3 starts creeping in for me. Let me explain to you how difficult it is to edit the color on a hairstyle. You pick the hairstyle and you have 4 options. You have the roots, the actual hair, the highlights, and the tips. You then use the color wheel, or you can use color hex codes to color those 4 spots on the hair. That's it. So forgive me, I don't understand how this is clunky. Yes, it's clunkier than just picking blonde in The Sims 4, but I'm really not sure where you were going with this. Honestly, I'm just confused. Next up on this list is, I wasn't a fan of open worlds. The Sims 4 runs fast enough for the loading screens to be negligible. Here's the thing with that argument. You're spending less time loading the game in small bites, yes, but you're ultimately spending more time loading the game than I am in The Sims 3. Let me put this into context for you, and I'm just gonna be picking numbers out of thin air. Say The Sims 3 takes 1 minute to load into the game, and The Sims 4 takes you 10 seconds every time you travel. So when you leave your house and you hit a loading screen, it's 10 seconds until you load the lot, and then when you come back, it's another 10 seconds. So every trip you leave your house in The Sims 4 takes you 20 seconds. After 3 trips out of your house, you are now spending more time looking at loading screens than a game from 2009. If you play The Sims 4, take a moment and think about how many loading screens you see when you play. I'm pretty sure the average Sims 4 player spends more time in loading screens than I do when I load The Sims 3. Next on the list is the Sims 4 online community is amazing, and being able to bring in builds from someone else is great. I hate to burst your bubble, but a gallery type feature where you can download other people's creations, this is not unique to The Sims 4. The Sims 3 had its own gallery type thing called the Exchange. It was free to use, and you could upload your own creations and download other people's creations. Now the problem with most good ideas is EA decides to take 1 step forward and about 20 steps backward. The Sims 4 took a step forward because they actually attached the gallery to the game so you could access it easily. Let me list some of the things that they did with the gallery that were steps back in my opinion. When the game launched, there was nothing in place to stop people from adding CC and things created by mods to the gallery. Now I'm not going to go over all the disgusting things people did with mods, just use your imagination. The main problem here is those things still exist on the gallery. Many of them have millions of downloads. I don't have to tell you that downloading these old things from the gallery is not good for your game, right? This segues nicely into the ridiculous amount of times the gallery is down. I'm not saying the Exchange never went down or never needed server maintenance. What I am saying is I don't believe they put a lot of care or thought into the gallery before they slapped it up there. Another problem with attaching the gallery to the game is that if you don't keep your game updated, well, you lose access to the gallery. The Exchange was free for everybody. Anybody could use it, but the gallery, no. If you don't keep your game updated, sorry, you aren't allowed to access it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember there ever being a big problem with people re-uploading and stealing content on the exchange. There's this whole ecosystem on the gallery of getting as many likes and favorites and downloads and getting on the maxis curated, even if you have to steal from other people. The hashtags are terrible. Everybody just spams the ones that are most popular no matter what they create. People can game the system on the gallery and get infinite amounts of downloads. If what you upload to the gallery doesn't get a lot of engagements, it just gets wiped from the gallery after a certain amount of time. I believe a lot of this boils down to just poor planning and poor implementation, and also a lack of really caring about the gallery at all. Let's move on to the next thing on the list. Who needs horses? I get some people like them, but nowhere near enough people to make it a staple in The Sims 4. So you're building a correlation between the fact that we haven't got them yet and the fact in your brain that no one wants them. This post, of course, came out before the fake country living leak, and everybody got excited about farms and the possibility of horses. You know, I don't really believe that correlation you put together in your head. However, I can come up with a few other more plausible reasons why we haven't gotten horses yet. Number one, the Sims team needs to overcome the fact that we're living in closed neighborhoods and horses need a lot of room to roam. I'm sorry, but the normal 20 by 15 and 30 by 30 lots are just not big enough for horses. They're going to need to build an entire world catered to horses, and then they're going to need to decide if those horses are stuck to that world or if they can figure out how to make the other worlds cater to horses. This isn't something that you can just slap into any old world like cats and dogs. Another reason we haven't got horses yet might be because they're going to take a ridiculous amount of animations, and we all know that EA is allergic to adding new animations into the game. I don't know about you, but these two things that I just pulled out of thin air are a little more plausible than people just don't want horses, so EA is not going to make them. Next thing on this list is the jungle DLC in Sims 4 is great. I've had many playthroughs where I had a family of Salvadorans who just stayed there. That's great and wonderful and all, but did you do any of the jungle adventures? This is the sort of mentality that I have a problem with. That build buy makes up for all of the problems a pack has. You wouldn't believe the amount of people who tell me that the Moschino stuff pack is worth it just for the windows. I know this is a radical idea, but how about we judge a pack on all of its content? I've only done jungle adventures once, and once was enough for me, and let me tell you my thoughts on it. Stupidly, I thought I could just vacation there and jump right into a tomb, but nope. It's a misery simulator if you don't have the money to pay for a bunch of supplies. It's a frustration simulator if you don't have the correct skills to get over the skill checks. There's artificial roadblocks like temples being closed and you just have to wait around until they're available. And let's not forget the fun choose your own adventure style pop-ups that will hinder your progression if you get them wrong. Or the sheer dumb luck simulator when you're trying to figure out how to do a puzzle. And pretty much everything in a temple is tied to your needs, so if they fall too low or you get a puzzle wrong, you better head back to camp and waste some more time. I did have a bit of a chuckle when I scrolled down and saw someone said Jungle Adventures was better than World Adventures. Have you ever played World Adventures? There are 5 basic temples with pretty much the same layout in Jungle Adventures, and in World Adventures, there are over 20 different tombs to explore, spread across 3 different worlds. What else is there to do in Jungle Adventures besides go to the temples? Does Jungle Adventures have a bunch of quests that you can do, martial arts that you can learn, a tournament you can take part in? Did Jungle Adventures come with a bunch of new items to play around with, like the board breaker, or the nectar maker, or the camera? How can I forget the snake charm basket, the fortune cookie maker, and the training dummy? The amount of content you get in Jungle Adventures pales in comparison to the sheer amount of stuff you get in World Adventures. Next up is, university was a disappointment. Every time your child aged up, you were forced to choose between them or the rest of the family. Again, this is one of those moments where I think to myself, did you even play The Sims 3 for more than 2 seconds? When you go off to university, your family's kind of held in stasis, so you're just playing with one sim for a while. They don't age up, they don't have birthdays, you're not missing out on anything by playing with just one sim. So this kind of leaves me scratching my head because I'm not sure why this is such a big deal. I don't know about you, but I don't want to bring along mom, dad, and all my little brothers and sisters when I go to university. I'd rather be able to focus on one sim and get them really good grades than have everybody tag along. If you've played through Sims 3 University, you know you don't have a lot of time to be playing around with other sims. So who in their right mind would want to add more sims that you have to keep track of? The next thing on this list is I'd be fine with never getting Sims 5. Just keep expanding upon 4. Really, you want to expand infinitely on a game that was a mobile game to begin with and was cobbled together at the last second and is full of bugs and glitches? I know this post is almost 2 years old, but the problems with The Sims 4 have been evident since it launched. It has been a buggy, glitchy mess since launch, and you want to keep adding on to that already broken framework? Let's fast forward to this year, and it has been a crap show for The Sims 4. Packs and patches have come out, and they've done nothing but break the game further. And you want more years of this in infinite years of this. To cap off this video, I want to share a few more things from the post that I thought were absolutely hilarious. I prefer the simplified gameplay. Really now, you prefer the game to have less features and less things to do? Sims 3 was always crashing on me. Sims 4 has never crashed on me. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to laugh. The stuff that's been going on lately with the patches just causing the game to crash, I just find this hilarious. And the cherry on top, the things I really love about 4. The Sims have more personality and feel more alive. The mood system is great. Wow, this post really didn't age well. I hope you guys got a chuckle out of this because I sure did. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.